The RBI's decision to withdraw its highest value currency, the rupees 2000 note, from circulation had sparked concerns amongst citizens, and the opposition spared no chance to attack the Modi government, calling the exercise as Demo 2.0. The Congress even went to the extent of saying that whenever Prime Minister Modi goes to Japan, there's a notebandi notification. But today, the RBI governor put all speculations to rest regarding the rupees 2000 currency. Allaying the fears of the citizens, RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das said that there was no need to panic and citizens need not rush to banks to exchange their currency. Let's listen.
So this time we are therefore withdrawing it from circulation, these 2000 rupee notes, but they continue as legal tender. Purpose has been fulfilled. Today there are enough notes in circulation of other denominations. Even the circulation of 2000 rupee notes, as we have explained, has come down from its peak of 6,73,000 crores to about 3,62,000 crores. Advice is to please see it as a part of the currency management operations of the Reserve Bank. Let me put it, clearly, and that is the primary purpose which we have followed. You see, unless you give a particular time, unless you specify a particular time, the process will not reach a stage of finality.
You're watching the News Hour at 9, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And we're also asking the question on the NewsHour tonight, after the RBI governors has allayed fears, are you still worried? We are taking calls on the NewsHour tonight. Introducing my panel this evening, Gaurav Bhatia, Anand Ranganathan, Kamruzaman Chaudhary and Sridhar Reddy continue to be with us. But joining the debate is Monica Hallan, author, Let's Talk Money, and nobody understands this issue better than Monica Hallan. Monica Hallan, do you think after the words of Shaktikanta Das, RBI governor, now people will stop worrying, or do you still think it's a bad idea?
Navika, I want to begin by saying that the RBI governor, Shaktikanta Das, stood like a rock during the period of COVID. You know, his statements, his stature, he was able to allay all kinds of fears. He managed it so well. Similarly with the monetary policy, where the US Fed simply could not handle it, they had runaway inflation, so did Europe. But our monetary policy was so beautifully executed. I'm finding it very hard to believe that the same person is responsible right now for the mess that we are seeing on the ground. And I'll tell you why I think that there is a mess. The apparent reason is that these notes are soiled, they've lived their life, and they need to be withdrawn. Okay, so if that is really the story, then why is there a 20,000 rupee limit on withdrawal per person per day? So if you have such a limit, which means there has to be some sort of identification. So earlier there must have been some requirement for that identification. But because of the uproar yesterday, that was removed. So from tomorrow, people can go multiple times. They can send mules the way that it happened in 2016 and turn multiple 20,000 tranches through the day, through the weeks. Banks are actually very confused on the ground. And Navika, I have spoken to bankers today. They have spoken about a rush to the lockers all day. So people have cash. The 2000 rupee note was not being used by you and me. It was being used to hoard money. So they have been going to the lockers, and Navika, the same people will be able to turn that into 500 rupee currency notes. Now, and the second point is that there is a sudden death on 30th September, after which nobody is clear what happens to currency notes. Suppose you are still left with the 2000 rupee note. My sense is that it will go to the RBI windows that every state has. You cannot go to your bank anymore and get your money back, right? So these two things are inconsistent with the soiled note theory. And purely as watching this thing play out, it just looks like a very botched operation to me, Navika, unfortunately.
Botched operation. Well, I'm coming to you, Anand, but we have two callers, Babu Rao from Bengaluru and Harish from Vadodara. Good evening, Mr. Babu Rao. What's your question?
And such a pleasure talking to Times and to you. Probably it is my lucky day, I will tell you.
Thank you so much. Very grateful that you've called us and you're on the show tonight.
I am 71 and I tell you, probably for the last 5 years, during this period, I watch nothing but Times Now.
Thank you so much, sir.
You are there. I will tell you two things. One, I agree with Monica that the statement given by RBI governor looks very ridiculous, that it is soiled and that is why we are trying to withdraw. It is ridiculous. Straightforward, we could say that we want to end because at the time of demonetization, it was announced that this is a temporary period because otherwise they had to print large number of notes rather than 2,000.
Okay.
Now, as far as a common man is concerned, there is nothing to worry. I have about 79,000 rupees. I am 71-year-old. Probably in the 5 years, maybe my wife has accumulated few. We will give it and we will exchange or put it in a bag. But in the last 1 year, the amount of rights that have shown, there are tons and tons. In fact, I should not say in currency number, tons and tons of 2,000 rupee notes have been created, right? Where is all this coming from? So these are the people who will come eloquently.
Good question, Mr. Rao. Very good question. Mr. Gaurav Bhatia will respond on where this money is really coming from. And every raid that the ED or the CBI does, they do find stacks of that money. Good evening, Mr. Harish. What do you think? Are you now satisfied or are you still worried after the RBI governor's words?
I'm not worried. I'm a genuine taxpayer. Okay. And so I don't have to worry. And if at all I'm having some few notes, definitely my banker will take care. So I have a full faith in RBI.
Okay.
People who are worried about corrupt people. Okay, it's a definitely red light for them. That's all.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Rao, and thank you, Harish. So, Mr. Reddy. Real people are saying हमें कोई problem नहीं है. We have paid our taxes and it's only the corrupt and the hoarders who are today in problems. Do you agree?
Of course, corrupt and those who are holders of the huge cash definitely may have a problem. But the issue as a political party, what we talk about on this, rather my opinion is that first RBI made it clear today that when they have done the demonetization, they were not prepared to do it basically. Because one of the reasons that they have mentioned is for remonetization, because we don't have a large number of smaller denomination notes, so we had to print 2,000 notes. Why did you do that? That costed many lives. People had to stand in queues, and there is so much of problem to the economy. And formalization of economy, all these things is there. Now it is that all those things are actually doesn't prove right now.
Okay, so let me take that question to Gaurav Bhatia. Gaurav Bhatia, once too many shocks to the economy, and Monica Hallan's point, the roadmap has not been very clear, very transparent, and now inconvenience is one part of the story, but a confused country with a confused currency is another signal that we are reading. How do you respond?
No, I think Monica ji voiced her concerns, and that is a concern for many. But let me make it very clear that this is under the clean note policy. And the RBI, by taking this decision, there is a larger message also, Navika, that RBI, you remember when denotification happened, demonetization happened, what did the opposition say? They said RBI is not autonomous. Today they are taking a decision. There is around a 4-month period which is there to change the currency notes from 2,000 to a smaller denominator. There is no need to panic. And I must tell you that the honest taxpayer is not at all worried because they know that ultimately every currency note would be honored and it would be changed by another denomination. But who is worried? I'll tell you. In Rajasthan, within the secretariat, Ashok Gehlot needs to answer how did a recovery of 2.5 crores and 1 kg of gold was found. It is fight against corruption, and I think RBI has taken the right decision. They are following it up to ensure that if there is any sort of currency which is being misused or which is being used against our country, then we need to take care of it. The second argument that they have given, the reason, is very simple, that there is a life to every currency note and that life has expired. Therefore, we need to recall those notes and change them with fresh funds. I don't think an honest taxpayer
You buy
will have
that
a
argument, Anand Ranganathan? We've seen the 5 rupee notes going on forever, 100 rupee notes going on forever. Suddenly, in last 7 years, the life of the 2000 rupee note is expired.
Navika, very quickly, 4 points. Number one, I completely take Monica's view. It would not be a government policy if it wasn't botched up to begin with. You've seen what happened with 20% TCS and how they have to revise so many things. Number two, it is not like I would really wish the politicians on the panel would stop spreading panic, because this is completely unlike the demonetization of 2016, where you only were given 4-hour window to exchange a volume which was 89% of the floating currency. Here it is 9% of the floating currency by volume, and you have 4 months to exchange. And number three, people are finding fantastically innovative ways. In fact, Zomato has come out and tweeted that 72% of their cash on delivery in the transactions yesterday were actually people giving them 2000 rupee notes, and they were accepting it happily. And number four, I personally haven't possessed a 2000 rupee note for 4 years, Navika. In fact, the only time I saw a 2000 rupee note was at a wedding when you were there and you were doing this with 2000 rupee note on a doula's head.
Oh my God, Anand Ranganathan, trust you to badmouth me, any little time that you get, an opportunity that you get. But let me get in two callers who are calling in. H.S. Gupta and Mr. Krishna, both calling in from Delhi. Mr. H.S. Gupta, do you think there's anything to worry about, or are politicians exaggerating?
Good evening, Navika. I'm a great fan of Times Now and your show in particular.
Thank you, sir.
Let me tell you, Monica ji was factually wrong. From day one itself, from the RBI statement, it was very clear that no document is required for changing any note. It was very, very amply clear. So I don't know where she missed out. Secondly, all political opponents, whatever be the policy, they are going to criticize and they are going to misinterpret and misguide the people. So
well, very well said, Mr. H.S. Gupta. Politicians would always question and dislike everything. That's a given. That's very well put. Mr. Krishna, good evening. Are you worried? You'll have to turn down your television set.
Yeah, sorry, Namika. I would like to ask you a question. RBI governor says that no document, no form has to be filled. Why HDFC Bank is saying they have issued a form saying that you have to fill this form, giving details of your PAN number and your Aadhaar card and everything for changing 10 notes of 2000 rupees.
Okay. All right. Monica Allen, confusion there still?
So the original RBI circular, which is on their website, says that banks have to do the KYC, which is required. So after that, there was an uproar yesterday, and the message went out, and State Bank then sent out a message to all the branches to say that, no, you don't need a KYC, you don't need a requisition slip. So there has been a change in the way the banks were communicating the need for a KYC, and then a change in direction.
All right, so that clearly means, Monica, and to all our viewers, that PSU banks immediately get a phone call. Private banks, well, it's another story. Will there be more questions? We'll take these questions also tomorrow, because putting all worries at rest is the job of any media outlet, and Times Now will stand here with viewers HDFC, we'll take that question to HDFC and we'll come back with more answers. But for the moment, some confusion. But clearly, taxpayers and honest people have nothing to worry. That is what people of India are telling us tonight. Thank you very much to all my panelists, and thank you, viewers, for joining me on the NewsHour tonight. Good night. Be safe.
The News Hour at 9 will be right back after the break.